Today we're going to go over the first of creating forms in HTML. Now remember that forms without CSS can be a little bit rough, but nonetheless the concept is still here. So basically we're going to start with the form tag, and which is telling the browser, the HTML, that we're going to be creating a form here. What we'll initially start with is let's tell it which action to use, which is basically going to be where the file is going to, where the form is going to submit to. In most cases, you'll probably use like an index.php, or you could just put the number sign for just going back to the home. In this case, without more programming like PHP, we're not able to actually use forms in HTML, but we can still build them. The action, and then the second part of that is the method, which is basically where it's going to, how it sends the information, if it's secure or not. So basically those are the two things we will put our form structured with. Now we'll go to our first, we'll just add first name. This is basically going to be the first tab on our form, and we'll just do a quick break, and we will add an input. So we'll go input equals, or wait, I'm sorry, input type equals text, which is what most people are going to use. And from there we will give it a name, which is going to be the name, or first name maybe, variable, and that will be our first one, and we'll give it another line break and go down and put last name, comma, and give it another break, and we'll create our second form. But why don't we just look and see what our first is looking like so far. So here we have our first name, our field, our name here, which is here, last name. We'll create our next. We'll go input type equals text, name, and we'll call it last name. And we'll give it one more field, and we'll go over more of the different types, but in this case we're just sticking with the text for now. And the last thing we'll do here is we'll just create a submit button, which is input type equals submit, and we give it a value because it's a submit button, and we will call it submit, and then we'll close our form. So let's see how this looks. So as of right now, we technically have the form here, but it's not going to do anything because we don't have the form submitting anywhere. Which again, this looks a little bit rough, but with a little bit of CSS, it'll be looking real nice. So guys, that's kind of the form structure. We're going to go into a few more of the form types in the next couple tutorials, so stick around.